my 2.4 significance presentation 1. I'm going to be talking about Athens and their government. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my define the significance in my own words. In my own words, I put the highest regards of worth that can lead to power. Holding one's mindset in significance can help them build they can help them manifest of greater good, the importance of being valid to oneself. So it's like if you hold yourself in the highest regard, you're going to exuberate that energy, and hopefully everybody will follow along to show the importance of what you're producing as far as like a greater government or something that you can hold to yourself as being just a good person. You know, you're just putting yourself in that position where as respect, or however you think yourself as important. You're not going to please everybody, though. Remember that significance mindset. Not everybody's going to like you. So I think this ties into the government situation, because for describe the idea, person, and event you've chosen. I chose the Athens government, obviously. It was ruled by aristocrats, and the reasons: they had best lands that were controlled by political life of council of nobles, 9 officials called acrons, which meant, like, they've only had few that held power, and they also had citizens that held power as well, but they weren't like the aristocrats, and they really didn't rule as much as the aristocrats. They just had some vote power, but not like completely. And they ended up having some economic problems as well. The farmers did have some financial situations which caused them to turn into slaves/peasants, where they couldn't repay their loans. So they ended up having to just be a slave to the aristocrats because they couldn't pay them back. And in the end, they ended up losing their property, which is pretty sad because that's their livelihood, and it wasn't ruled properly for them to help get it back. But I don't even think that they had any intentions of just getting it back. I think they were just taking it for more power of land. And it was like, oh, well, if you don't have the money, then too bad. Like, they didn't have no like financial relief. But them taking it away didn't even help them financially as well. So, I mean, it's not like it worked in their favor. And it's sad because, like I said, they turned into slaves because they couldn't pay it back. The farmers did beg for their debt to be, cleared out, and it didn't happen until Solon, a reformed mindset aristocrat. He cleared out the debt, but did not give back the land, and which that's unfortunate for those. They had their debt done, but yet their land wasn't refurbished back, and that's a loss. So Solon actions resolved in the more economic power problems. The aristocrats tried to get more power, as Solon was hoping to. He tried to avoid tyranny, and the peasants could not obtain their land, as I said earlier, because it's just, it didn't help. He was trying to be like a Robin Hood, I feel like. I mean, that was my opinion, but it ended up backfiring, and he got pushed out of power. And so here comes Pisistratus. He was another aristocrat who did seize power, pursuing foreign policy that aided Athenian trade. He was popular with mercantile and industrial class. And unfortunately, the Athens did not care for his son, so they rebelled against him, which threw him out. When they attempted to reestablish, more aristocrat significance, they came across Cleisthenes. These are some hard words. He ended up helping the people. He opposed their plan, but he was backing up the Athenian. I can't. These Greek words, Athenian people. Like, they gained power of, finally in 508 BC. he created a council of 500 to help foreign affairs and treasury and purpose laws that would get voted more into assembly. So he was trying to like correct their economic issues. And eventually he did get that to come into play where, you know, they did get themselves together with their economic problems and the money situation. Like finally, instead of somebody like always like power, 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 he was actually adjusting the democracy to where it worked in their favor to help. But in his administration, as shall we say, he only advised male citizens given the final authority of passing laws after free and open debate. So he did not allow women. He only allowed men. He only felt like men's word were valid, and which created the foundations of Athenian democracy, where women were not part of it, and it was either the man's word, and then that was it. And for the future, it kind of like it helped out as far, but I mean, in the end, I mean, women's voice also shall be heard now. I mean, as futures change, yes, but back in the day, I believe that he created that. He created that way for they could actually get some type of order. So when it came down to the men, because they were the farmers, I'm assuming, and of course women helped as well. But he helped pass laws. He engaged the citizens. He was giving them a little bit more power. And I believe like the men, you know, that kind of draw everybody in to kind of get, you know, the Athens democracy more set for a foundation that was better for them to move forward. And that's how it was stabilized. So with that being said, that is my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. It's very interesting and how Athens, you know, ruled. So thank you.